Jerry Priscaro, 921 East Avenue, Erie, Pennsylvania. Because the letter of preliminary appeal was ambiguous and very general, I believe the zoning board, it's important for each member of the zoning board to take notice with other concerns regarding this zoning issue and the granting of preliminary zoning approval. First of all, I'd like to take issue with the fact, I'd like to ask that the...
I would like to make a standing objection. This is an appeal brought by a single individual. This is not a conditional use or special exception for an application where a bunch of neighbors can come and they've got no opportunity to do so. Statutory right to appeal, one individual exercise that right. He has the right to be represented by counsel. He has the right to bring in an expert. But that does not extend the right of appeal when others are not present. So
this is a public hearing. Our practice is to hear other parties that attend these hearings in an informal proceeding.
no, I understand that, but I was to know the standing objection to all of that. I don't need to know if anybody else.
Thank you.
Continue.
I have joined the appeal and I'm requesting revocation of the preliminary zoning opinion and preliminary zoning approval for Erie and Port Erie Power to build and operate a tires to energy plant on the International Paper Site location for the following reasons. Number one, the preliminary zoning opinion and approval violates the City of Erie, Pennsylvania zoning ordinance, Statement of Community Development Objectives and Policy Goals, Section 108.10, 108.30, 108.80, and 108.90. And if you refer to those points, 108.10 states, so developed land in Erie can exist in a compatible and harmonious way. And my position is that this tires to energy plant development will not exist in a compatible and harmonious way.
I don't mean to cut you off, but again, I stated we're here for 20515, and that's what Mr. Petroff filed the appeal on, and that's why we're here today.
Yes, sir. But I did bring up the point that because a general preliminary opinion and approval was brought forth, therefore any objections to that preliminary approval and opinion should be permitted to be stated at a zoning hearing.
Well, you just stated it. Right?
I have more.
Okay, go ahead.
108.30 states to preserve, protect, and improve residential neighborhoods.
I have to know an objection. The zoning code explicitly allows power plants to manufacture energy. So whatever the preamble says, I don't want to have to cross-examine witnesses and prove that. It's really irrelevant.
A preliminary approval was granted in a general way.
I know there's an objection, but there's no issue here. Nobody's raising an issue that power plants are not a permitted use in manufacturing district. The preamble is going to talk about all sorts of different interests, residential interests, recreational interests. The fact is, the zoning code allows...
Well, listen, regardless of how he testifies, we're going to look at 20515. When we get behind closed doors, he can tell me the grass is green and fair, it isn't going to make any difference to me. I'm here for one thing. You can continue and then...
Let me ask the question again. If a preliminary appeal, if a preliminary approval was granted to a company for zoning on that property, am I correct in saying that any aspect of the zoning code that has been violated is pertinent to the appeal that has been brought forth to that preliminary approval?
Mr. Chairman. Yes. We have a letter here before us, okay, by Mr. Petroff, who appealed whether or not the zoning officer made the right decision regarding section 205.
Right.
That's it. That's why we're here. Right. So my answer to you is my opinion, or it would be no.
Mr. Petroff, were you contesting the
Well, listen,
preliminary approval? Or simply 205?
What he appealed on 20515 and advertising the paper 20515, I'm going to listen to. So if anybody has any testimony regarding 20515, we'll hear it.
So in questioning the preliminary approval for zoning, you are basically telling me then that there are no other There's no other evidence of violations that's permitted to be brought forth to this board
No, that's right.
as part of that appeal.
Mr. Petrarch appealed that. If you don't win, or if you win, and they want to come back and appeal, and we hear all kinds of different sections, fine, but that's not for today.
Why don't you pull the board?
Yeah, what I just heard from Mr. Dester, does anybody want to hear the rest of the sections argued today?
I think we should consider it.
Thank you.
It makes no sense.